SkyBridge Capital recently increased their allocation to European event-driven managers. And the thesis has a variety of different facets to it. The first is just from a top-down standpoint, Europe in general, we see much better growth. We still see a still very accommodative ECB, even though they may start to taper their QE program at the end of the year. We see meaningful valuation discounts in European equities versus US. We also see the fact that they're the biggest beneficiary of lower oil prices, much more so than the United States. And we see better earnings going forward in terms of earnings growth. So a lot of things to like from the European standpoint. In terms of the investing outlook, one thing to remember is that Europe has been either a disaster or a debacle, really from January 2011 through the end of 2016. Let me rephrase that to be fair. It's been either a disaster or a galactic disappointment. And what we mean by that is there were many false dawns, false hopes. You had the Eurozone crisis, you had extended high periods of unemployment, they had a bank system that needed to be recapitalized, whole host of issues that made it very challenging to make money. In fact, from our perspective, the last great opportunity to actually make money in Europe versus the US was 05-06. That's a long time ago, right? So our thesis now is that after many false dawns, this dawn is real. The outlook looks much better. Furthermore, hedge fund managers focused on hard corporate events, even in a tough operating environment, generated somewhere between 5 and 7% annualized returns. So we sit back and say, hey, tough operating environment, 5 to 7%, nothing to write home about, but you've gone from a very tough operating environment to one that's at least good, some would argue great, and so their return prospects are much better. Additionally, managers that focus on this strategy tend to have lower betas, lower sensitivity to both U.S. and European equity markets. And as our investors know, that's important to us because we're always looking at how much one can make versus how much risk one's taking. In this case, that's measured by beta. And also what the volatility and correlation profiles are. So we think on a lot of levels, it has made sense to ramp up our European exposure. We can't tell you what it'll be 12 months from now, but it's materially higher now than it was starting the year.
All investments are subject to risk, including the possible loss of the money you invest. For more information about SkyBridge Capital Multi-Advisor Hedge Fund Portfolio Series G, call 1-888-759-2730 to obtain a prospectus. Investment objectives, risks, charges, expenses, and other important information about a fund are contained in the prospectus. Read and consider it carefully before investing. This webcast is for educational purposes only. We recommend that you consult a professional advisor about your individual situation.